Man, I'm bored. So bored, in fact, I'm gonna go get a piece of toast. That's some good ass toast. Gotta go to the bathroom now. Oh, that was a big one. But I'm kind of tired, so how about I go to bed? I can't sleep, so how about you get the point already. I love Sonic the Hedgehog. And by I love this series, I mean I love it. Just ask anyone I know, like, that guy. Hey, random guy, do I like Sonic games?
I would say so, judging by the noise always coming out of your house.
Together, me and you, don't be afraid, try, kiss your fears goodbye, no looking back. You and I were on the attack, full speed ahead.
Okay, shut up, no one asked you. But the point is that this series means a lot to me. First I played Sonic 2, then Sonic 4, then Colors. So naturally, when I found out about a little game called Sonic Generations, I was ecstatic. I had never heard of such a concept, and when I played it for the first time, I was in awe. Had everything a Sonic game could possibly need. But how does it hold up today? Well, let's find out. The game starts out wasting none of your time with a cutscene and just pops you smack dab in the middle of Green Hill Zone as classic Sonic. This is an incredible opening act, Green Hill or not. At the start of it, it makes you think that the camera is going to be very closed in on Sonic, but as you start moving, the camera slowly pans out, getting into that Sonic goodness like bouncing on springs, spin dashing, breaking monitors, and of course, going fast as hell. There's a few cinematic parts too, like this one where Sonic runs across his path leading into a spring where he jumps into the next area. After a loop, some springs, a swingy thing, and some bad dudes, we finish the act and cut to the better modern Sonic. Since this is an anniversary game and Sega was running out of ideas, today is Sonic's birthday and all of his friends are gathered around a pretty good looking cake and yells "Surprise!" like a bunch of dumbasses, but Tails gives Sonic a chili dog, so it's all okay. But remember, Sonic never catches a break, so who's to say some big ass motherfucker won't come out of a time portal, taking everyone including Sonic so he can't eat his chili dog. Oh hey, it happened. Suddenly, Sonic wakes up on this guy's hand, with only one option being to head into this oddly familiar place in front of him. Here, we have arguably the best iteration of Green Hill Zone. Starts out pretty typical with a simple hallway you can boost in, and then it gets to a few platforms to jump on, leading to some springs which allow Sonic to gain height so he can get to the next section and either do a homing attack on enemies from the air, or just wait to fall down and do it, or hell, just go past them. This leads to a section with two different choices. You can either A, go through this red ring to get to the springs, or B, jump on the platforms like a loser. Next we move into the first rail grinding area, and unlike Sonic Adventure 2, this is really basic with no way of falling off. After that there's a loop with Green Hill Fashion, and we get to the first 2D section. Now I hated the 2D sections in Lost World Colors and Forces, but in this game it feels really nice and a joy to play. After that there's a split path letting you go across on a rail or take the harder route with enemies. There's another loop after that, and then there's a few split ring paths to go to this section with a trick pad, leading you to get some extra boost until you land on the waterfall for a tunnel that leads into another easy-ass rail section. The rest is pretty simple, with another loop and another hallway leading into the goal ring. This may not have sounded like the best stage in the world, but just trust me, it's actually really fun to play, and it feels so nice to do so. It all just leads into each other and is a big step up from Colors. Afterwards, Sonic meets back up with Tails, who was a white guy for a bit, but became back to normal and started talking to Sonic about how familiar the next place looks and that we should go check it out. Now we're given two options. You see, Act 1 doesn't have to be played first, but it does have to be played, so we're given the option at the press of a button in the hub area to choose between Classic or Modern Sonic. Each of the 9 zones in said hub area are split into 3 sections, Classic, Dreamcast, and Modern. The Classic stages are Green Hill, Chemical Plant, and Sky Sanctuary. The Dreamcast stages are Speed Highway, City Escape, and Seaside Hill, and the last 3 are Modern stages, being Crisis City, Rooftop Run, and Planet Wisp. I personally think that more zones could have been thrown in just to extend the game time a little bit, as these zones are far too short. If it were up to me, I'd add Carnival Night, Radical Highway, and Wave Ocean just to give each area a nice little boost. The hub where you find all the zones that are actually in the game is very plain and I don't really mind. It isn't confusing and is straightforward, so you won't need to pull up a guide. Sonic Unleashed. There are a few tricks up this hub's sleeve, however. Take for example this area. You run all the way to the left and you'll encounter a shop that gives you upgrades, but I never really felt the need to use it because I'm not a stupid bitch. But if you go even further, you'll see a gallery, which is a magical place. It's packed to the brim with character bios, concept art, and music that you can use in stages instead of the default music for those stages. Now how do you get those? Well, in each stage there's 5 red rings that could give you one of those things. Some of the red rings are really well hidden and can be a pain in the ass to find. Speaking of stages, let's talk more about those. Next up is none other than good old Chemical Plant. Act 1's like a goldfish with a lot of salt to spruce it up a little bit. Act 2 is a Cheez-It. The stage starts wonderfully with 3 options. Go here, here, or here. So let's just take this path real quick. Okay, let's take... Fine, I'll take the normal one. Next are some pretty typical Chemical Plant stuff like moving boxes and some water to boost on with a few other things. Now you're probably wondering why I highlighted this stage, right? Well, you see, my child, to get me to decide if I want to finish the game, the first 2 levels have to be spectacular, and these 2 are even better than that, with a perfect mix of 2D and 3D sections and the boost running everything together from modern Sonic. As for the classic stages, it's really nice to be able to play as classic Sonic again, but don't get me wrong, after these crazy ass boost stages, these are nothing special. Don't take this as me hating classic Sonic, his controls are really good and everything can run together if you're good enough. Think of the classic stages as an appetizer before eating a really good meal, and the appetizer is some good ass bread that you have to hold back on eating too much of so you have room for the main course. Now I go to Sky Sanctuary with classic Sonic, which is just Sky Sanctuary. Now the modern Sky Sanctuary, oh boy, that's a treat to have. It's packed to the brim with 3D sections, enemies that bounce off of these moving things, and there's split pass. Things Sonic stages do to me, I tell you. This is probably one of the best stages in the game. Sonic's team nailed everything in it. It's so fun to just run around on this stage, and the music, oh my god, the music. It is the best track in this entire game. How did they do this so well? Well, it seems like the only currently available place is the first boss fight, so let's go take care of that. Is what I would say if this were a typical game, but it's not. In Sonic Generations, 3 keys are required to open the boss door. How do you get the keys? To get the keys, you're gonna have to go beat challenges inside these gates and acquire them. These missions range from having Blaze get rid of a firewall, dodging a bunch of shit to get an upgrade for your boost, having Amy boost you up with her hammer, racing a doppelganger to get to the finish line, so on and so forth. So what's the point of them, you ask? Well, every time you beat one of these missions, key or not, a bell will appear that allows you to grab a music note which nets to a song or a piece of art that's accessible in the collection room. In addition to missions, each of these little areas have a rival battle with the character Sonic has went up against in the past. Being the Genesis area, the rival battle here is naturally Metal Sonic. This fight is pretty basic, but really fun, and can be pretty difficult sometimes, like when he does this thing where he comes at you with the charged electricity attack. Well, I gotta say, this game's pretty fun so far, but I'd like the first boss to be something original. This game could really use some more originality. You gotta be kidding me. The Death Egg Robot, again! This fight's okay to say the least. It starts out as the fight from Sonic 2, but then it evolves into an arena where you have to let the Death Egg Robot slap some bombs so you can climb his arm and give him a concussion until he explodes. From here, the game's very light story just kinda leaves for the most part and is solely blasting through stages that get better and better with each and every stage. Obviously, they aren't getting better than Sky Sanctuary, but it's kinda hard to top that. In fact, literally every stage from here on out, not you, is a goddamn masterpiece and deserves all the praise they get. Whether it's a thrill zooming down City Escape or running across the water in Seaside Hill, I have a blast in all of them. Even the classic Sonic stages get really good from here on out and don't feel like an appetizer. An issue I have with these stages, however, is just how little variety there is. There are 4, count them, 4 out of 9 stages that are set in a city. Thankfully, these are all incredible stages and city themes work really well with Sonic, but god damn, Sonic Team loves buildings. A lot of them feel way better than their counterparts. Take Speed Highway, for example. Act 1 perfectly replicates everything from the SA1 version in 2D, and it's packed with little nods to SA1, like this Chowd Space poster, which I really appreciate since Sonic Adventure games are some of my favorites of all time. There's even a part of the helicopter that brings Sonic to the next section, and doesn't really need to be there, but I seriously love this thing. Each little area is perfectly designed to fit classic Sonic, like that thing. Anyway, on to Act 2. Act 2 starts out pretty solid with a small road to boost across, leading into a building with windows to bash through, and then there's a 2D section with some spikes that... Is that the Lightspeed Dash? It's way more confusing in this game than Sonic Adventure, and I don't understand it because my tiny shrimp brain hates reading tutorials. There's another helicopter like in Act 1, this time with modern Sonic, that goes into 2 separate paths, but I always take the cool one because Sonic gets to run down a building, and it's cool as shit because unlike Sonic Adventure, you can actually do shit on the building, and you get to go inside and out to the road again, and then through a parking garage. Finally, there's kind of a plain 2D section that leads into a road that gets to the goal ring. I kind of have a bone to pick with this stage because of the 2D sections, however. They're okay, don't get me wrong, I just kind of feel like all the other ones get in my life are just way better. So Speed Highway was good, but there's another city in this area that we haven't taken a look at yet. Welcome to one of the best stages in a Sonic game ever, City Escape Act 1. Instead of the street like in SA2, we actually start out in the park, and then we get to moving platforms, and then the truck. This is literally City Escape in SA2, but flipped to the side for the whole thing, and I'm all for it. Now, starting in the park would be an issue, right? Wrong. It starts there, and then it lasts 20 seconds until we get into the real meat and potatoes of the stage. The truck. Instead of the truck section lasting 30 seconds, it lasts most of the stage this time around, and I'm all for it. A lot of the set pieces for its SA2 counterpart are used as if for some reason the truck couldn't hold back enough to keep it consistent, but that begs the question. Why do they think Classic Sonic is Shadow? They really don't look the same anymore. Classic Sonic is a midget! Why am I like this? Does it really make sense in the grand scheme of things if Sonic events don't make sense? Do I need a doctor? Anyways, let's get on to some good shit. Welcome to Utter Perfection. Act 2 is one of the most perfect Sonic stages ever. This stage is the exact same as it was in Sonic Adventure 2, but this time it has a couple 2D segments thrown in, obviously, the boost. I never knew how much this stage needed the boost until I played it for the first time. It's so bad to go back to the SA2 version because of how right this one feels to play. I literally have no words to describe this other than I'm a sad piece of shit who gets really excited over Sonic games, so let's move on to an okay stage. I have always been in the middle when it comes to Sonic Heroes. I like the idea, but it's executed awfully to me. A lot of the stages feel like broken messes, and when you die you get sent back in the stage way too far. Seaside Hill is not one of those stages though, so it was only appropriate that this was the stage chosen to represent heroes in this game. But wouldn't it be great if this iteration was good? To me, Seaside Hill really only works in Heroes and nothing else. It showcased Sonic Heroes perfectly and set up the rest of the game by letting you get familiar with the characters' movesets. This was really one of the only 2 good stages in Heroes, so it's kind of a shame that it isn't good in Generations. Act 1 is nothing else except basic-ass platforming that I feel nothing from doing, unlike most of the other stages with the little blue midget. Act 2 is a little better, I guess. The only cool thing is boosting on water, but other than that, it's just a bare-bones Seaside Hill without Tails screaming.
Look at all those Eggman's robots!
Well, that was a mediocre time, but I still have a rival battle to do. Let's see who it is. I never would have guessed! The shadow fight in this game is really easy. All you gotta do is boost into these purple energy balls until you get a clobber shadow until the fight is over, netting you another Chaos Emerald. It was really weird going from the hard-ass Metal Sonic fight to this, but whatever, I'll take it. Well, that covers it for the Adventure era. I wonder what the boss will be. Guess I'll have to find out. What?! I love Sonic Adventure. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and I will always force that opinion on others, no matter how stupid it really is. Now, when I saw that Perfect Chaos was the second boss in this game, I flipped out to say the least. This is and will always be the best fight in any Sonic game, and if you combine that with the boost, it's a recipe for greatness. They really amped up the quality of this one too by adding a little platforming section before you get to boost onto Chaos. These really add more depth to this stage, and they just make it all around a better time. Would have been better to play it after you get all the Chaos Emeralds? Yes. Was it necessary? No. It'd probably make the stage really easy, but who cares about that? Sonic games are easy for the most part anyway. God damn it. You know, that last section of the game really blew me away. It'd be a shame if the game had 2 shitty levels at the end and a pretty good one. You're fucking kidding me, right? We begin this shitfest with a stage from a shitfest itself called Crisis City from Sonic 06. Like the theming suggests, Act 1 is hell. Instead of me telling you though, how about I just show you? I don't have to say anything else on that one. I can't describe Act 2 with any other word but Most stages in this game actually feel remixed. If a stage was in the classic era, it feels fresh and new for classic Sonic and vice versa with modern. No matter what, each act feels new, even Crisis City Act 1. Act 2 is just Crisis City though. Maybe it was to represent how lazy Sonic 06 was? Maybe I just couldn't think of anything cool. The world may never know. This game has a lot of city stages, wouldn't you say? Well, this is by far the best one and probably the best stage in the entire game. The same can be said about the Adventure era levels, but oh, who am I kidding? It's so goddamn fun to play Rooftop Run. You've probably heard the classic version of Act 1 track play in most of my videos, and for a good reason. It's the best song in the entire game. City Escape is my favorite Sonic song, but personally I think it runs a little too long in Generations and doesn't have the same magic as the original. Anyways, on to Rooftop Run. Now, what else can I say about Act 1 that has zero to do with the music? It's fun. It's just a watered-down version of Act 2, but that doesn't mean it's bad by any means. It's just really basic. Act 2 now. Holy shit! The stage was wonderful and Unleashed, and it shines even better here because, well, you know, Unleashed didn't shine that much. I mean, it was good. It was good. Now, I know this may seem a little bit hypocritical due to my gripes with Crisis Shitty over there, but hardly anything changed here, and that's good because this level is untouchable while the other is. The stage has literally everything a shrimp could ask for in a boost level. Kinda open parts, good 2D sections, running on a giant clock tower, drifting, rail grinding, and most importantly, it's just fun to play. My love for this act just isn't describable. It's a sole factor why I love this game so much. Planet Wisp is why I hate it. Act 1 just has a ton of why moments, like the part where you use the spike wisp to move these thingies. Speaking of these, the wisps are actually horrible and I hated them in Colors, Forces, and Lost World, so they definitely do not get a pass here. They feel shoehorned into everything, and the level could have been changed to work without them, like how Seaside Hill was changed to work without Tails and Knuckles. I also really don't like how the stage looks and sounds like it's gonna be the best in the game, but then it just ends up being the worst. Did I mention how it takes 9 minutes? And Act 2 takes another 9. 18 minutes for this shit. 18. Act 2 starts out pretty great too, but then it quickly tanks once you get to the factory area. This stupid shit with the saw blades made me mess up way more than I want to admit. Stupid Wisp controls like ass too. The weird part about this entire thing is that I actually like the stage and colors, so maybe I'm just a picky idiot. Alright then, that's everything in the game other than the final boss, and absolutely nothing left to talk about, so let's just beat the game with no issues.
Just give up!
Okay, so the fight starts out really good, some self-explanatory running, and then some homing attacking on debris. All that you gotta do is this a few times while making sure to boost so you can catch up to Silver. But wouldn't it be great if you could have boost left for the giant trash ball? This single part stumped me for a long time until I conserved my boost just enough so I could catch up to him, but even then it's super hard to catch up to his dumb ass. After 98 attempts, I finally ended up beating his ass so we can add the last emerald and move on with our lives. To the dismay of no one, however, there's another shitty fight in the form of the Egg Dragoon from Sonic Unleashed. Kinda mix on this fight just like I am with Sonic Unleashed, but it's really cool at first and it's kinda easy and sorta overstays its welcome. The attacks are really predictable too. Overall, not the best way to end the area. Thankfully, it's not over just yet though, as we still have the final boss to fight. Before putting the big bad boss in his place, there's something you always have to do, being putting the Chaos Emeralds in the gears, which opens the door to none other than the Time Eater himself. In typical Sonic games, there's a cutscene before the final boss fight, but this one just has Sonic and Tails jabbering when it's revealed that Eggman was the Time Eater the whole time. What? Yeah, so apparently he found the Time Eater after his failure in Colors and decided to rip apart the world and shit. The surprise isn't over yet because there's 2 Robotniks, what? The Time Eater quickly sweeps up the Sonics and it cuts to all the characters cheering for them so they get up and get ready to beat the shit out of the Time Eater. Oh yay, my favorite trope! I honestly hate this cutscene so much. Of course we know that Sonic and Classic Sonic are gonna get up and beat them, so why wouldn't they just do it? And to make matters worse, everyone's just cheering for them instead of, oh, I don't know, helping? And just at the nick of time, Chaos Emeralds appear out of nowhere when they're supposed to be in the gears. This entire cutscene is so unbelievably stupid and would have just been way better if the Sonics had stuck with the Chaos Emeralds the entire time, instead of having them leave before the fight and coming back before it really begins. The entire fight consists of a back and forth between the Super Sonics as they catch up to the Time Eater. 99% of the time you're going to be right up on him as Mario and Sonic, but you're going to need to swap between the two to get close to him. I actually really like this fight once I got the hang of it. Smacking the Time Eater on his weak spot is really satisfying. Especially at the end of the fight where you have to mash the left and right bumpers to give him a good old drill in the belly so he can die and pieces finally return back to the world. The game ends right where it started, except this time with Classic Sonic and Classic Tails. But of course they aren't staying, so they have to go back to the past to play the shitty games that suck ass, and everything goes back to normal. Whoa, hold on, you two aren't going anywhere. Classic Sonic and Classic Tails in this game are by far some of the worst iterations of these two I have ever seen. Classic Sonic used to have attitude and everything that just makes Sonic a younger version of him. Classic Tails is supposed to be Sonic's right-hand man, but he's just here. You would think they'd be right by Classic Sonic going from zone to zone, but nope, he just hangs around Modern Tails for the entire game. Instead of what they used to be, they're just kind of shells of their former selves, and it saddens me. And Classic Sonic just gets beaten in the ground even further by forces, and just not even being a past Sonic anymore. This game really tarnished Classic Sonic, despite being fun as hell to play in Generations. I can't really say I'm a big fan of the story either. It had so much missed potential, and compared to other Sonic games, this is by far the worst story out of any of them. And I wish Sega would've went crazy with it for their 20th anniversary title. Other than those gripes though, Sonic Generations is a really special game, and it would always be my number 2 in the shadow of Sonic Adventure. Sure, it could have been way better, but that statement can be used for almost every Sonic game at this point. The short but sweet Sonic game will always have a place in Sonic history.